Hello everybody, this is BJS, the Speak on YouTube channel, back again with another video. It's been a while, because life happens. I was listening to Larmovement video, why black men do better in relationships than black women, and I was looking at the comment section. By the way, y'all should check out that video. It's a very deep video, and a lot of videos that Larmovement does. So subscribe to his channel. So I was looking at the comment section, and one of the comments struck me. It was made by Lori LaForey. I guess that's how you say her name. I don't know. I don't know. But she wrote this long diatribe, and just long, and no not the right grammar, not the right punctuations. It's just long. It just seemed like it was just a reactionary and not based on any logic. So I was gonna type this out, but I thought it'd be better just to respond to the questions in the video, because I just feel that would be better for me anyway. I don't feel like typing all this. So I'm gonna go by all the points that she brought up, and I will try to counter them. If I agree with something, I will agree. But it's just a lot to take in, so let me just go through it. Okay. So the first thing she said is, what exactly do black men do better in relationship than black women? And give detail, please. And receipts that show the benefits to black women and child. Well, if she would have watched the video, she would have shown what he would have explained what he said. As far as give receipts, I mean, the receipts are around you. There's always a lot of receipts, scientific data that shows that black boys do better when in a healthy relationship, definitely led by black men. But again, you should listen to the video. From that response, you didn't listen to the video. You just saw the title and decided to write that stuff. Because if you would have listened to the video, you probably wouldn't have that response. Okay, the next question was, and here's the thing, she didn't put question marks. If you're gonna ask questions, you put question marks at the end of these sentences. That it shows a statement, not a question. But how is it that black men and black women were born in the same and raised in the same community, and the men claim that they have more morals and integrity than the women? Well, if you're complaining about what males and boys are talking about, that's different. A lot of black men don't claim to have more morals and integrity than black women. But I can't explain why it seems that way to these boys and these males. In the black community, black women are known as queens. They are validated way higher than those boys, the males, and the men. And the black community don't move unless the black women say so. That's fact. I mean, a lot of these households, you remember, big mama, big mama, grandmama, they typically ran these households. So they could do no wrong. And let's face it, even the most ratchet of females will still get wiped up or taken care of by some dude. And they don't have to have any morals, no integrity. That's why these dudes feel that way. That's why they feel that way. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's what it is. That's what they feel. Because a lot of these females feel entitled. And they just do the most grimiest stuff. And here's the kicker. A lot of the women co-sign this stuff, either by actively supporting it or in silence. You got females who's out here twerking in Walmart, literally licking ice cream and putting it back, just doing the foulest of things. And there'll be women who will support it. There will be women as a collective who will either say nothing or just downright support it. There are women who will literally say they like bad men, and there's no women saying, hey, you shouldn't even say that. I remember a year ago, maybe a couple of years ago, they were talking about For the Dick Challenge. Now, these are black female celebrities saying this stuff. And there was no black women saying, hey, y'all out of pocket. Nope, nobody said that. So that's why these guys feel that way. Am I saying it's right or wrong? No. What I'm saying, that's what they feel. That's an opinion. Opinions don't have facts at times. So, first question that I guess she was supposed to put as a question. There are more single mothers and fatherless children. Well, that comes into vetting. A lot of these females do not vet these men. They're just picking because who makes them feel good, who gets their vagina wet, and who they can control, either through their resources or their vagina. So if you're picking somebody based on penis size, how they look, or who can you control with the resources, and then on top of that having a baby with this type of person who is not a responsible father, who's not a responsible man, period, you're going to have a lot of single mothers. And the thing of it is, they're not just having one kid by these type of dudes. They're having 2, 3, 4, 5, multiple kids with these type of dudes. So, of course, you're gonna have more single mothers. And fatherless children. Because they're picking the wrong type of dudes to be fathers. They're not vetting these dudes. So let's see the other quote. Why most black men are killed by black men? Okay, goes back to one. There's a lack of resources in the black community. There's a lack of jobs in the black community. When you have a lack of jobs, when you have a lack of resources, a man if he cannot earn something, he's going to find any means necessary to survive. And that means robbing, killing, and stealing. Another thing is that goes back to the single mother situation. If you don't have a father teaches a boy to discipline his emotions. A mother cannot teach a son that, because a woman is an emotional creature. They live off their emotions. And because if you're around a person that lives off emotion and not living off of logic and how to control your emotions, you're going to let your emotions rule the day. And if some dude say something out of pocket, or you feel you say something out of pocket, that dude is going to attack. And usually it's with a gun. And that's why you have a lot of these killings. These killings are out of rage, frustration, anger at the situation, and they're taking it out on people. And unfortunately, they have pistols instead of fists. Because if you didn't have no guns, people would just be punching people a lot. So, lack of resources, lack of emotional control, that's why you have a lot of killing in the black community. Black men killing black men in the black community. Let's see, she said, why are black men, too many black children are being molested by black men, family, and friends? And she asked another one, and how this affected the community. She also asked why the black man has the title of failures compared to every other race in the universe. Why are boys growing without a clue or role models of how to be decent, responsible men with integrity and morals? I'm going to answer all that in a few statements. Again, the women are not vetting these men that they decide to have children with. A man teaches a boy how to be a man. A man teaches a boy how to be a responsible, decent man. In order for a man to do that for this boy, you as the female had to pick a decent, responsible man to have babies with. Or if not, put your son around decent, responsible men. A lot of these females are not doing that. Again, as I said before, why there a lot of them are single mothers and they're having fatherless children, because they're not vetting these men when they get with them. They're having babies with men before they even find out these guys can be a father, of a financial responsible. They're not vetting these guys to see if he's going to be a family man, if he's a responsible man, if he's a decent, responsible man, if he's a competent man. They just picking dudes out of how they look, how they dress, how they smell, if they're aggressive or not. This is what a lot of these females are picking. And they're having babies with these guys. Not just one, not just two. They're having multiple babies with these type of dudes. And because they are picking these dudes for how they feel in their heart and their vagina, they're not looking to see, hey, let me see if this dude is going to be responsible. Let me see if this dude's going to be a family man. And because of that, that's where you have these fatherless children. And this is why you have a lot of molestation, because they're not checking to see if this guy even like kids. They're just throwing him into a family situation where they have kids at, and they don't know if this dude molested kids. They don't know if this guy was molested as a kid. They don't know what his temperament is. And then here's the kicker. Here's the kicker about that. When these kids say, hey, Jaquavis touched me in the wrong place. Jaquavis did this to me. You know what some of these women would do? They will defend them. We have family members that will defend these molesters, these abusers, these rape, these child molesters. Instead of getting rid of them or taking them out back and shooting them. That comes from the women. If you want your boy to be a responsible, decent man, you have to put him around responsible, decent men. And to the other point, why these guys are failures? Because again, you're not putting them around winners. You keep putting them around failures. Or you're not putting them around decent, responsible men at all. And because you're not putting these guys around dudes who are winning at life, you're not putting these children around men who are succeeding in life, of course they're going to turn to a failure. Yet a lot of these females are not putting these kids in winning situations. You're having kids when you're broke. You're having kids when these are still children in the mindset. So a woman who has a mindset of a child is having a child. How is she going to raise this child to be a responsible adult? Let alone pick a man who's a responsible adult himself, so that he can help raise these children to be responsible adults. That's why you have these failures. And another reason why you have these boys as being failures, because some of these mothers teach them that they're failures. They don't teach them to be great. If you remember Boys in the Hood, remember the Ice Cube character, Doughboy. His mother said he ain't shit, his daddy wasn't shit. That's all he heard was he ain't shit, he's nothing, he's this, he's that. So what happened? He turned into a failure. Well, the opposite side, Morris Chestnut character, Ricky, he was told, oh, you're going to be great, you're going to do something. So, he was a football star. He was going to college. Now, he still had a baby, perpetuating that kind of cycle. But his mother thought he was the best thing ever. Even when Ricky died, she blamed Doughboy for getting him killed, even though Doughboy had nothing to do with it. That's why you have a lot of these boys end up as failures, as men, because they are not provided the opportunity to see success. They're not provided the opportunity to be around successful men, and that's why they have this title of failure. So she also asked, what state of mind black men and not seeing that responsibility, how they fall short? And I answered that question above hand. It's because they're not put around successful people. And when you're not around successful people, you will perpetuate failure. Let's see. Hope black men are thinking clearly and stand by what you do and say there are a lot of black men that do. Now, again, black boys and black males, not so much, because they haven't grown yet. Black men, we don't blame females for everything. I certainly don't. Because I look at both sides and say, yeah, she's fucked up, but guess what? You chose that chick. I tell dude, hey, you need to control who you stick your dick in. You need to control when you have a child with. You control who you have a child with, not the woman. So, she's going on to say the black men have many more blame, many more faults. So it's like she's, again, her thing is blaming the black men for all these women's problems. That's not the case. For this black community, everybody has equal blame. It's just the problem is a lot of females don't take more of their responsibility of the problems in the community. That's where a lot of these men are saying, hey, look, we know we fucked up, but y'all are not taking y'all part of the responsibility either. And so if everybody's not taking responsibility for their own part, you know, what do you expect? Let's see. Let me go here. And then she wrote something else that didn't make sense. I'm not gonna read the rest of this, but the point of this is that this chick she got mad because Larmovement wrote this, why black men do better in relationships than black women, and because she was butthurt. But why should you be? If you are a black woman who's doing her part in the relationship and having successful relationships, then why would you be mad when the guy say that? The reason why I think she's mad because a lot of times her relationships fail, but instead of taking responsibility on her end, she wants to blame men for everything. Oh, the community messed up. It must be the men's fault. And that's not always the case. Because, again, like I said, a lot of these black females do not vet men. They do not have discernment. And to be honest, I think a lot of black females have a lot of hatred, resentment, anger towards black men. All of them. They have anger and hate and resentment for the bottom black men, the Pookie, the Ray Rays, the homosexuals, because they're giving their vagina to these guys in the hopes that they will become the successful black men that they want. But in reality, these men would not be those type of men. You can't make them to be that guy. You can't make them to be these successful black men, the father that you want for your children. You can't make a dude be you can't make a man be something that he's not, that he was never given guidance and is stretching to be. I don't care how much you give him head, how much you clean up the house, how many Xboxes, tennis shoes, or cars that you provide him, how many times you bail him out of jail. He's not going to become that man unless he chooses to be. And then you have this anger, resentment, and hatred for the men that are successful, because one, you're not attracted to that man, And two, they don't want to come back and help you out when you finally get tired of these pookies, these ray-rays, these hobosexuals, these bum dudes that y'all keep letting impregnate y'all. And he's saying, no, chick, that's y'all problem. I'm staying over here. I'm good over here. And then she put in about the white man, and of course, always go back to dating white women and other races. I like to put that out there for all black women to understand. When a black man is dating outside his race, most times that's his second and third option. If he's having a baby with another race of woman, 75% of the time, it's because he could not find that black woman in his community. He could not find her. Either because she thinks he's lame, either because she's treating him like dirt, he's thought of as a sucker, he thought of not going anywhere. And so they get with these other races because they see value in these black men. Now, this is not saying that these women are better, because I know some white women that own some fuckery. I know some Hispanic women that own some fuckery, some Asian women that own some fuckery. But at least initially, the ones that thinking black men, the ones that they call these educated lames, they see the potential of greatness in these guys, and they'll take them. Now, will they do them any kind of way? Of course. But initially, they try to be nicer than black women. I give black women a lot of credit. If they don't like you, they just don't like you. They ain't gonna fake the funk. If you ain't someone that at least looks good, or they have swagger, they ain't gonna fuck with you, and they'll let you know they don't fuck with you. Right or wrong, that's what they do. If they think you're weak, they won't fuck with you and let you know it. Unfortunately, what happens with that is that they pass up on a lot of these men. Or if they're struggling and they're not attracted to them, they're not going to help these guys. They'll help the homosexual, they'll help the bum, they'll help the pook and ray-ray. They'll give all their money and everything. Even if it's on the government dime, they'll give them everything. But these guys who are struggling to be like engineers, tech guys, lawyers, doctors, they won't give jack shit to them. Hell, if they need a job, they won't even give them a job. They won't even help them get a job at a place, and you know this dude is responsible. They know this dude is responsible, and they still won't help him get a job at that place of business. They still won't. He got to figure it out on his own. And you wonder why he leaves you for some other race. Because you're not helping him. You're just using him. If you give him a time of day. So that's what it is. So at the end of the day, I just think if this black, if we want this black union, this black unity, to come together, then both sides need to accept their responsibility in why this black community is failing. Both sides need to understand that they have this hatred, anger, and resentment, especially black women, because they don't admit it. They use every excuse and they use every excuse but not to say the truth. The truth is, a lot of black females, 75% of them, have some degree of hatred, anger, and resentment towards black men. It shows in their dating choices. It shows in their thought process with men. It shows in social media. And people, and black men, especially ones who got their shit together, are starting to see that. They're starting to see that, hey, this chick ain't for me. A lot of these black women are not for me out here. So I need to take care of me. So until we come to that realization that we do have these anger, deep resentment towards each other, and take steps to fix that, instead of masking it as it's their fault, we will never have this black union. We will never have this unity because too many people want to keep up the bullshit. So that's it for me. I'm about to go to work. If you like the video, if you don't like the video, make a comment, and I will see y'all later. And thanks again to Larmovement for that video. I will put a link to that video, which will have the comment, and y'all look at it for yourselves. Thank you, and have a good night.